Thanks for joining us. This is your host, Taylor Bradley, and you're listening to the TroopHR podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the TroopHR podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Bradley, and happy 4th of July. Today, we're going to have a mini episode because we're out on holiday, but I do want to share a story with you that makes me proud to be an American. Throughout the history of the American workforce, there are many unsung heroes who are underappreciated in modern memory. One such individual is James G. Thompson, a name that you may not be familiar with, but one that played a significant role in the development of the American workforce and the civil rights movement that would come decades later. Thompson was a worker at a defense industrial factory in 1942, just months after the attack on Pearl Harbor. The attack triggered one of the largest workforce mobilizations in global history as America set out to find its war footing. During World War II, approximately 1 million African Americans and 6 million women entered the labor force in various sectors to support the war effort. However, an important contextual note, the embrace of this newfound diversity in the workforce was primarily driven by necessity and not necessarily a newfound appreciation of progressive ideals. For instance, Jim Crow laws were still very much alive in the South, and women stepping up to serve their country did not have the right to vote just 22 years prior. Though Mr. Thompson patriotically served his country by supporting the war effort, as a Black American, he was relegated to the role of a cafeteria worker and prohibited from working on the factory floor simply because the color of his skin. The irony of working to defend freedom while being deprived of aspects of it at home was not lost on Mr. Thompson. This led him to courageously embrace the freedom of speech he had by writing a letter to the editor of the Pittsburgh Courier, which was self-described as one of the most influential Black newspapers in the United States at the time. The paper was known for its fearless journalism and advocacy for civil rights, making it the perfect platform for Thompson's powerful message. At the time Mr. Thompson wrote the letter to the editor, there was a popular V for Victory campaign sweeping across America. This campaign was inspired by Winston Churchill's use of the letter V as a symbol of unity and determination to achieve victory in the war. It was widely adopted in America, appearing in posters, pins, and other forms of media. Thompson's letter, published in 1942, challenged the practice of fighting for freedom abroad while denying it to African Americans at home. It read, in part, "Should I sacrifice my life to live half American? Will things be better for the next generation and the peace to follow?" Mr. Thompson went on to say, "This may be the wrong time to broach such subjects, but haven't all good things obtained by men been secured through sacrifice during just such times of strife?" Inspired by the V for Victory campaign, Mr. Thompson proposed a double V campaign, which called for victory against fascism abroad and victory against racism at home. The campaign played a crucial role in raising awareness about the contradictions between the ideals of democracy and the reality of racial discrimination within the United States. The Double V campaign gained significant traction, becoming a rallying cry for African Americans during the war. It inspired increased civic participation, pushed for desegregation in the military and defense industries, and laid important groundwork for the civil rights movement that would follow in the 1950s and 60s. Mr. Thompson, while facing prejudice at home, ended his letter with optimism by stating, "Let me say that though these questions often permeate my mind, I love America and am willing to die for the America I know will someday become a reality." 21 years later, after Mr. Thompson's letter was published, a Baptist minister would ascend the stairs of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., and echo the sentiments of Mr. Thompson's letter by proclaiming, "I have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live to one true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. The opportunity to openly share and recognize our past, confronting its shadows while acknowledging the light of progress achieved, and committing to use that light to illuminate the future is invaluably American. I'm proud to be an American not because we are perfect, but because we can share our imperfections while collectively continuing to work towards a more perfect union. On this holiday, I encourage you to explore our history and find the unsung heroes of the American workforce. Most importantly, never doubt the power of your voice to be a catalyst for a movement. Happy 4th of July.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the TroopHR podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, we encourage you to subscribe and leave a 5-star rating. If you would like to learn more about our community, please visit TroopHR.com. In the meantime, keep living the dream.